Welcome to Around the Bases, the pop culture and sports podcast with your host,
Tim Sternberg.
And Charlie Seymour.
Hey, Charlie. What's
How
up,
you doing
buddy?
tonight?
Nice job on the intro. Love it.
Yeah, that's usually a Tim thing, and it seems like that's the way to stick to it, right?
We're trying to mix things up a little. It's our show,
Yeah,
right?
just keep them on their toes.
100%. And I love that. You know, they're listening, they hear Nick Testa's theme song going, and all of a sudden they hear Charlie Seymour doing the intro. I love that. I love that.
Little curveball.
A little curveball. I love that. How's your week been, buddy?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Living the dream. It's awesome. It's been an awesome week for a pop culture and sports. I can't complain. I have nothing to complain about, actually.
Your spirits are a little better than the last time we talked about sports.
I wonder why.
I wonder why that could be. Now,
maybe the Mets.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time we talked about it, the Mets were 0-5.
Oh, no,
the world was on fire.
Oh,
Tim was ready to jump off of a
here we
bridge.
go.
And
there we go.
And who was it that said, "Patience, young grasshopper, patience"?
Woo!
Because at the time
Obi-Wan,
at the time of this taping, right now, since we filmed that episode, the Mets are 10-3.
I know. I know. I shut up.
So
God, dude.
Yeah.
I don't. Dude, I don't. What happened?
What happened? More than 5 games happened. That's what happened.
I know. But listen, we won a series against the Braves. Yes. Sorry, Braves fans, but I was freaking excited for that.
And one of those games, I mean, you put it to them.
We killed them. I mean, it's double digits.
I saw something that the Mets and Braves have played, like 1,000 times, whatever number how many times they've played. It was tied for the fourth most runs the Mets have ever scored in a game against the Braves, 16.
Oh man. How awesome. And yes, listen, Ali Crow, you were right. I will admit it 100%.
Wait,
what?
Repeat that? That actually sounded kind of nice.
No, you're going to do that? Really?
Oh, okay.
All right, fine, Charlie. Ali Crow, did that sound better even the second time?
No, I like the you were right part. That's
all right. Okay. That seems like a familiar theme with us, Charlie, but I'll say it again. You're right. For the audience, listening. So I got that. Charlie is definitely the more optimistic of the two of us, I would say, without a doubt.
And let's maybe say realistic. It was 5 games out of 162, Tim. Come on. It was 5 games.
All right, Charlie. How the Cubs doing?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
They won another road series. Can't complain other than they've lost. They're doing this without some key pieces.
Suzuki, right?
Suzuki,
got
Steele,
injured.
Tyone, Merriweather, one of their better relievers. And they're playing well. And now they've got to come back home.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pulling, I'm pulling for your Cubs.
Yeah, can't really complain. They're 4 over, and they've played 2/3 of their games on the road already. And it's not like all of them are pretty much playoff caliber teams. They've played at Texas, at the Mariners, at the Padres, and at the Diamondbacks, who were in the World Series. So
it's happening. I had to do that. It's happening.
You're Ian Happ. Great. You love him. I know. He had a big night yesterday, and he had a grand slam last night.
Amazing. The dude is just, he's stellar. I mean, he's one of those, what I like about Ian Happ? He's one of those he's not the one that you're going to buy the rookie card for millions of dollars. He's not the Flash, he's not Mike Trout, but for who he is, stellar. For stellar, he is awesome. Great with the fans, as I'm sure can relay how he treats the fan base. He has a pretty good coffee, from what I understand, with his Connect roasters. So yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, and he's got a podcast too.
He does
with now a New York Metropolitan. How about that?
I love it. So yeah, how about that? A Cub and a Met. That's wait, are they kind of looking at our podcast? What's happening here? Ian Happ, you need to come on this podcast. I'm saying it right now. So, come on. We welcome you as a guest here on Around the Bases, maybe on an off day that the Cubs have. But yeah, I'm excited. The Mets and the Cubs are rocking it. And you're right. And we didn't have JD Martinez come up yet. I mean,
Yes, and he's still not there.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when that happens, wow.
And the pitching is held up someone said maybe it would be a little better than he thought it was. Severino's been pretty solid. Quintana's been pretty solid. They're
I'm
they're gonna
happy for the Mets, but man, I hate Ian
they're
Crow.
they're gonna be a wild card contender.
Yeah.
They have too
Well,
many good pieces not to
but
be.
listen, it's only been 15. I'll throw your words back. No, but you're
Except
right.
it's
You're
been
right.
18.
Well,
Now it's
okay.
been 18.
Well, and you are the numbers guy again, so I will go with that. But yeah, so yes, to our audience, we will be talking about other stuff other than sports. But I just had to get that out of my system that I was excited for the Mets by a million times. I'm really excited. So yeah, and go Cubbies, go
Yeah,
raising that
and
white
and
flag.
but really quickly before we jump away from
Yeah.
baseball, also I don't know if you've been following along, but it's the trend has been pretty consistent. If Davis Schneider is in the lineup, the Blue Jays have a much better chance to win. Just
So
saying.
why not just keep David Steiner
I
in
don't
the
get it.
lineup?
I don't get it. It's like we're beating a dead horse here, but maybe by the time next time he'll be in there every day still. But
You know, it's funny. It's interesting. Baseball is a very interesting sport when it comes to that, right? And I say that because the Mets had arguably one of the worst DHs last year. Um, you know who I'm talking about. Uh,
Vogie,
his Daniel Vogelbach, and they put him in. They knew that he was not going to do well. I mean, almost guaranteed when Vogelbach was in the lineup, at least with the Mets. I'm not saying anything about this year, but at least with the Mets, when Vogelbach is in the lineup, he was not going to perform. Here is a guy on the Blue Jays, David Schneider, who is consistent, performs well. The team does well when he's on the in the lineup, and they don't put him in regularly. I don't
there's
get it.
something to be said about the glue guys. You know what I mean?
Hundred
Like
percent. That's
good presence, good clubhouse presence, and
That's why utility is so important. You need to have that. You need to have, that's why they say depth, right? That's the part of that depth is to have the guys that listen, you can't play your Juan Sotos or your, I know he's a Yankee, but your Juan Sotos, your Vladdy Juniors, they can't play every day or, comparable positions. That you need to have those glue guys. But at the same time, if the glue guy is performing well, you need to take a hard look at that. The superstar doesn't have to be in the lineup if the glue guy is doing better than the superstar.
yeah, and
So
with the DH, you can get a guy a day off his feet, and someone else can go in the field. That's why
exactly.
he's like a Ben Zobrist. He's a Swiss Army knife. You
Yeah.
put him at second, put him in left, put him in
Yeah,
right.
Zobaris was very, very famous for that as well. There's been a number of players throughout the history of the MLB that have done that. Speaking of MLB and rookies and people that are making debuts, Jack Leiter for the Texas Rangers is making his debut. It's the year of some really good rookies. Look at Gunnar with Gunnar. What I'll be okay. Orioles.
Jackson Holiday.
Thank you. I don't want to say, I wanted to say Gunnar Henderson. I knew that was wrong. Jackson Holiday and what Jackson's doing.
You
And
had
and
Gunner on your
how
mind because he's been red hot. That's
yes,
why.
he has. He has. But look, Jackson Holiday, son of an MLBer, Jack Leiter, son of Al Leiter, who
Matt
legend
Lore,
met and Marlins legend outlier. He was on
loved
both the
watching him
Mets and
pitch.
the Marlins, and it was a great pitcher. And many people don't know Mike Piazza, also a Met and a Marlin legend. He was on the Marlins for I think a week from
Yeah,
the Dodgers,
3 days or something.
or 3 days, yeah.
Yeah, that was
But
wild. I
still,
remember that.
still a Met and a Marlin.
Yeah.
But yeah, Al Leiter is like one of the most fantastic pitchers I've ever seen in a Met uniform, and that's high praise considering Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver,
I like
Doc
him as a
Gooden.
commentator too.
Uh, Great commentator. I'm happy for his son. We'll see what he does. I mean, number one draft pick for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, he's
You
pitching
got to see.
tomorrow or the day after, right?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that next week for sure. But I'm excited. Baseball's exciting. It's baseball season.
So
Baseball's in
much
the
young
air.
talent.
Love it. I just love it. I'm missing it. I watched, I see, pictures of people at the Marlins Park, and I miss going there. It's just there's something
Have
about
you been to a game yet this year?
mm-mm,
Not yet.
no.
Okay.
I will for sure in a park called Wrigley in June.
You got to get to one
I
before
gotta
that
get to
though.
one before. I know. Get it. When do the Cubs come down to Miami? Maybe I'll go to the Cubs in Miami and report live from. But yeah, I'm excited. I love baseball. Um, we'll see what happens. Speaking of loving things and liking things, what did you think this week? It's my I have to think of better segues, but that's okay. What did you think of this week's episode of Deal or No Deal Island?
Oh, see, your segue was because Miami, it's so beautiful, island weather. There's your
Oh,
segue.
it's like an island off of Panama where Deal or No Deal is played.
um, so okay, wow, lots of thoughts on this Deal or No Deal. You know what it reminded me of was did you I don't know if we've talked about this, but did you ever watch The Trust on Netflix?
Yes,
So
yes,
this challenge reminded me of the one where they had to blow out the candles, except it wasn't anonymous. So
yeah.
without giving away too much, basically they had to they had to give a negative, what would you call it, a disadvantage, let's say,
They had
to
to throw.
one
Well,
person,
they had to
and
put
each
something in
person got
something.
to do it one time, right? So
Yeah,
it's just so happened that everybody got one except one person got two and someone got zero. I won't spoil it, but so
yeah.
someone got a nice head start. So that's your first bit of it. But the challenge itself was kind of interesting.
Fun.
Yeah, it
I
was.
think I think I would have died if I was out there. That's tough. That was not an easy challenge at all. I mean, they were going through terrain and I think my strategy would have been if I was in that challenge, I would have just picked a random suitcase and walked it back and hoped that it was one that was a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, Rob gambled. He realized he
He
wasn't
did
gonna.
that.
It's exactly what he did. He knew that was it Dawson or no, it was Nick. He knew Nick was gonna beat him down the line, and it was a smart pivot at that moment. He just needed to be in the top four for immunity, which is what he did.
And there
So
was
that was a smart
players
play.
that didn't get their case
You
in
can
time.
tell he just knows what he's doing.
He does. And if they don't
He's
get him
getting
out
an
soon,
it's
it's almost
almost
too
too
late.
late.
Yeah,
It's
he's
getting close.
almost and I don't know, like so the casting for season 2, which is underway right now. I just saw a TikTok or something where they have over 500,000 applications for this next
Ooh.
season
Well, I mean,
coming
you
up.
can see why. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I
the
do
the the prize pot's over. Well, it's over 4 million already, and they still have another 6 to 8 weeks to go.
kind of like
And the
Squid
cases are going
Games.
up. Yeah.
Squid Games. I think they're going to be more than Squid Games, which is crazy.
So here's that brings us to another great point. Okay. So to not to jump too far ahead in the episode, but basically, without spoiling it, a contestant's up there for a big number, right? Now, to your point,
Well, we could spoil it. I mean, it's edited
the
already.
numbers getting big. It's over 4 million. Okay.
Yeah, there's a pattern I noticed.
If you were the player, was that a big enough personal offer to take to go home?
100%. Absolutely, I would have taken it.
Yes. Even
Without a
knowing
doubt.
how big the numbers growing to.
Without a doubt, bro. You know why? Because you still only have a 1 in 6 chance. And I do believe, even if you get to the final, from what I'm understanding about the game, that's not
You
guaranteed.
still
You
have to
still have
win
to
that
play.
game. Right.
Right. So you're going to get some kind of offer during that game. Most likely, I'm going to predict that whoever goes to that final game is going to take an offer if it's high enough. And if the cases are crazy,
And you could see that's where I'm thinking where that offer that you're talking about, it's
yeah.
got to be significantly higher than what he just said yes to, right?
Yeah, I think so. Here's what I've noticed a pattern. So this is the second time we've had a personal offer in the game, in the Deal or No Deal game.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed a pattern. It's when there are multi-million dollar cases in the game that are kind of left and it's very lopsided. Production, I mean, with good reason, you don't want to give away the whole farm. NBC will have a heart attack. So they're offering a personal offer. And with the way it looked, I said to my mom, watches the show too. I said to my mom, it's a no brainer. I mean, I would take that money in an instant. I mean,
See, here's the only thing I'll play devil's advocate for a second
yeah, go
here.
for it.
He himself was exuding confidence, right? And he said he felt the whole time that 2.75 was in his case.
Right.
What was in his case at the end?
That's
The
2.7,
one he
the case
said.
he got. And this is
So
guys,
so
this is
if
Dawson,
and he
just so
had a
you guys know.
67 and the odds were in his favor.
Yeah.
So if he says no, wins, not only is he up to a 1 in 6 chance, like you said, but that 4 million number is now almost 6 million.
But here's the rip with this. You're guaranteed at that point in time the personal offer. Let's say you move through the game, you go, you play, you go, you play. You don't get to the final round and you don't get another personal offer. It's a risk. So basically, you may just be leaving with the stipend of whatever it is they give you a week.
True.
And
What if at the same time he was about ready to take the deal, but like you said, production, the banker, they know they don't want him to do it. So what if it's another one of those? Wait a minute, the phone rings again.
it could have
They've
been. I
upped it
mean,
to 150.
100%. And if you watch the old version of Deal or No Deal, the one that was in the studio with Howie, they did that. That happened. Where the banker would actually call back and say, hey, wait,
And
you
and
sure?
they hinted at that this time because he did call him back a second time.
Yeah. I think personally,
That's
I,
the
I
number. What would you say is the floor
I
number?
honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I would have taken the 40 grand a couple of weeks ago.
Okay,
I
but that was 10 people left. So I think that was the
right.
right play there. There were so many more people.
You're the numbers guy without a doubt.
Now that it's down
I
to
just,
6, it's
dude,
getting pretty
though,
close.
100 grand is life changing for me. Like I could do so much. I think it's a personal preference too. I think you get to the point where
How much
like
of that 100 do you take after taxes? Like 65,
60,
60?
yeah, around 60 grand. I mean, that for me, that's a, and when I'm an advocate for kids and I don't really make a lot of money doing that and I'm selling stuff on eBay for income. I mean, that would be a nice little put away. I mean,
Absolutely.
and I'm 52 years old, so I'd like to do some things and have some fun. And I don't know. I think, and again, it could be a different choice for you or for depending on anybody's circumstance. I understand that. For me, in
Yeah.
that moment, if I was Dawson, I would have done exactly what he did.
So
And I
Eddie,
don't
you
feel
think
like I'm giving
would
up a
you
game. I feel like I'm winning a
what
hundred
if the
grand.
personal offer was just say a slight increase of the one before? You're still saying yes? What if it was
No,
like 40 again
no,
or
no, no, no,
50?
no. I think
A
you're
hundred's
right.
about the floor?
For that at that point in the game,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I think it had it been the 40 grand again with 1 in 6, the way it was looking, no. And there's a difference too. We didn't talk about this yet in the two offers. This offer was like, okay, you're leaving the game 100%. The
Right.
previous offer
She
is you're
could have
still
also
going
she
forward to
could have tried
play.
to right, exactly.
And she could have got a better case and ended up winning the 40 grand and
Right.
staying in the
The
game.
odds were
So
against it, but it was
right.
still the
Yeah,
odds.
absolutely. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of my criticism of the show, and hopefully production looks at this for next season. It's a lopsided. It's basically a numbers game. The amount of the money that's up there to me, if I'm playing the banker, is insignificant. What is significant is where that offer is in line with the other cases that are there. If you're going to make me an offer that's 4 cases below and one above the lowest, I'm not taking that offer. That's not a numbers nightmare
Unless they give you the 100
unless you give me a
personal,
personal
which is
offer,
what they
right?
do. They forced it because that offer, if you think about it, is pretty low.
No,
Like
and
they added it was like 1.349 or
I think
1.399.
it's a malfunction
It
of the
was a
game.
nice ad, but if you think about it logically, there were two of the cases were twice that.
Yeah, I think it's a flaw. I think the offer should be more in line with in the middle of the road of where the cases left are, and there that's not the way it is. And most of the time I've seen this season, the offers, with the exception of a couple of people, and I wonder why, but the offers have been pretty much lopsided down the fray, down towards, so you'll have
See,
four higher and it's two lower
I
or something
wonder
like
if
that.
in their extensive background work and check of all the people, they know
Financial circumstances.
exactly about the area for each person. And that's why they make the offer lower because they know they're just going to personal offer him in the area that he would it'd be too much for him to say no to.
No doubt. I have no doubt. I have no
So,
doubt that plays into it. You and I have both been on a game show. We know. We know how that works. Not saying that our show did that. Our show, we weren't in a position, but if we were on a reality show, yeah, I mean they're going to do their work. You look at Big Brother. Big Brother out of household basket has all their favorite stuff. They do their homework. They know what entices people to go for things, and you know, yeah, but for me, I would have taken 100 grand. I wasn't. Listen, I had Dawson pegged to win the whole thing. So I the last couple episodes, I didn't have him pegged anymore. I felt like he was exposing himself too much with the whatever the night owl thing they did was so stupid. I'm sorry. Like, what is that? Oh, but yeah, I there was a couple of players that I wish would go.
it would have been
I'm not a
funny if
fan of.
maybe they can add this in a future episode, but in the last one, if they would have had a little counter in the screen, number of times night owl is said, because that would have been
The
ding,
number of times
ding, ding.
they hoot.
Yeah.
Oh, like Dawson, stop. It doesn't. It's not cool. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting how the show has so many applicants, and it's not a ratings blockbuster by any means. I mean, NBC renewed it, and again, this goes back to why I believe that We Are Family will get renewed is because it's cheaper to make. It's really not that expensive. Joe is
Well,
probably not an
it's
expensive host.
right now. I mean, what if it get that pockets to 10, 12 million and the guy wins it at the end? You never know.
I don't think that person is unless you go all the way, I don't think whoever it is going to win the entire amount. I think they're going to get a good offer. I think the
It's going to be
prize is
too much
definitely
to
going to be
gamble.
yeah, I think the end prize is certainly going to be more than two. I think it's going to be over $2 million. I think what the person who wins gets at the end. Um,
It's interesting because of how they're the later it's getting in the season, the amounts are slowly rising in the cases.
yeah,
So let's say it gets down to the last three. I mean, they're pulling 10, 12, 15, like who knows how big they're going to be pulling, which means those offers for those episodes are going to add a few million each too. So
this is true. I'm interested to see how it goes. The drama, I love the drama. So, between Aaron and Amy and that back and forth that happened, and I'm like, oh, it's perfect. I mean, the casting was beautiful. I think the casting was good on the show. I think the personalities are great. I think the mix is good. I think the game structure needs some work, like I said, with the way the deal no deal is played. I don't think they necessarily have to have the full on meet the banker at the end. I think they could play the game throughout the game, the actual game in the game. There's the whole thing, a whole bunch of things that they could do with that. But it definitely needs to be reworked to make it a little less predictable, I'll say, because it is pretty predictable what's going to happen. And that's the thing about Survivor, which I have not watched yet, so I'm sorry about that. But Survivor
you're
is
in for
is
a treat on
it's a lot
tonight.
less predictable. I mean, we're taping this on Wednesday night. Charlie watched the episode. I haven't watched the episode yet, but I love that about Survivor. Things you said something happens in Tribal tonight that hasn't happened before. I love that because I'm always hearing that. This didn't happen before that. And that's what's great about Survivor. It takes away that little predictability of oh well, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And I think sometimes you can overstructure a show, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
so I like that about it. And Big Brother, same thing. Big Brother is can be unpredictable too. Although in last couple of seasons, it got a little bit of structured, and I hope, in the last season was a little silly with the whole time travel, whatever, multiverse thing. But hopefully they go back to doing things different. I think going down and going to the scratch pad and maybe reworking and re-ideas and re-energizing things. It doesn't always have to be the same thing. There can be things that are similar for the fans, like had a household in Veto. And I'm sorry I'm going off on a tangent, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes shows need a little burst of change, and Survivor has done that very successfully. Survivor without alterating their main format of what the show is has pretty much
Like when they added Exile Island.
right. Or when they shorten the amount of time I mean, the audience, what do we care if it's 29 days? It's still the same number of episodes. It's
Right.
just faster pace. I like the faster pace because it keeps the contestants on their toes and there's not a lot of lull time. And lull time is a little dull TV, in my opinion, unless you're in season one where Richard Hatch is running around naked. And speaking of Richard Hatch, House of Villains. Ooh, season 2. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be good.
Um, with that, it's not a spoiler, but you remember in the end of Last Survivor, they showed the preview and Hunter was way up in the tree, right?
Yeah.
Well, the context of that was I don't know if I've seen this before either, but can you ever remember in a reality show like this where they play a game within the game? And what I mean and not and what I mean by that is not like the challenges provided by the show. Well, the episode you're in a treat for, they literally, as a tribe of 10 people, played a big game of hide and seek.
I love that.
It was
I love that.
so it was really funny.
Big Brother does stuff like that. Like they have shows and games within the, weeks because it gets kind of boring. But I love that about those shows. Yeah. Amazing Race can't do that because it's moving too fast. But yeah, I love that. I think that's kind of what Deal or No Deal is missing, that character. And I know it's the first season, so hopefully they'll find that in season 2. And I hope they cast it as well as they did the first season. It was fun. It's been fun. I enjoy it, even though you know, it's not very popular apparently, but I love it. Oh, I finally saw on Apple TV the movie that you recommended.
You mean the movie about your likeness?
Yes, the movie Argyle.
For
Yeah,
those
in case
unaware,
yeah,
Tim wore an Argyle sweater on We Are Family.
for every
And it
single
even got
episode.
pointed out by random people on Twitter, Argyle sweater, Argyle sweater. And then fast forward a couple months later, a movie called Argyle.
So was Tim a spy? I don't know.
Could be.
But the movie was fantastic. So good.
And
So
it is
good.
now available on Apple TV.
It is. Thank you very much. By the way, yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it a lot. It's kind of long, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I actually rewatched it once it was on too,
I
a few
know you
days
told me
after.
that. Love that.
Yeah, I like those kind of fun spy movies. And this one definitely had a lot of twists and turns that you're not expecting. So
Yeah.
I'd recommend it.
So I saw the couple of weeks ago. I saw the new Ghostbusters movie with Erica. Loved it. It was so much fun. Just fun popcorn. You know what you want? It's hard during this time of year to get those summer popcorn movies that you crave in the summertime because it's still April and March, April. But Ghostbusters is one of those summer popcorn movies that they released in March, April, which I loved. It was so much fun. It was
That's
nice to
on our
see the
list.
original. It's
We're
on your
gonna see that
list.
soon. Yeah, we actually also went to the movies recently, and
Oh, what'd you see?
we were gonna see Ghostbusters, but the timing didn't work out well, because we went on a Sunday night and we didn't want to go too late in the evening. So we actually saw the new A24 movie. Shout out to my number. But we saw Civil War,
Ooh. Ooh.
and we saw it in Dolby, which that was quite the experience. So loud.
Oh man. That's not Rosie's type of movie necessarily,
No,
right?
but she was up for it. She was up
I
for it.
love it. Erica
Yeah.
didn't want to see it. I wanted to see Civil War, so I'll have to wait until it streams. How was it?
It was
Intense.
it was intense. It was.
Yeah.
There were a couple parts that we maybe necessarily didn't agree with how it went, but it's interesting. It's
It's a what if story, right? What if this
yes,
happened?
and it kind of makes some allusions to basically what if a president took a third term, just
Oh.
kept
Oh,
power. So
so it takes
it doesn't
it
specifically say anything, but it kind of broadly hints at that.
so this takes off from where the people went on the Capitol. Is that kind of the idea of
I believe so, yeah.
January 6th and that
And
whole
then
uh-huh.
a couple
We try
different
not to get too political on here, but it's
yeah.
talking about this movie and
Yeah, no, it's just a
wow.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a movie. Interesting concept. I definitely want to see that. Interesting.
Kirsten Dunst is in it.
Love her.
It basically it's the general story is about this group of reporters who are trying to get as close to DC where this is happening as possible, and it's their journey while this is
Oh.
going on.
Oh.
She's a member of the press.
So they become almost like the heroes of the movie.
Yes, they're the they're the main characters, I'd say.
Very interesting. I think there's a dichotomy there with using the press to have that, because there has been debate about you know press and the validity of the press, and I think that's a good dichotomy for a movie to have, is to have the press be basically the lead characters of the film. Usually in movies you see them as kind of the secondary, right? So
Yeah.
interesting. All right,
Yeah. So
I
then,
have to
and
check it
so
out.
it's fun to go to the movies, you know?
Yeah,
I think we'll probably do Ghostbusters next.
I have to see what's coming out this weekend. I'm hoping something that Erica would like to see, because I miss going to the movies.
Yeah, it's
you know,
fun to go, you know? It's
she
fun.
doesn't like horror movies. She doesn't like a lot of violence and gore, and so I have to kind of find
You
either
know,
rom
don't get me
coms or
wrong. It's
comedies.
easy to flip to Apple or Paramount and stream a movie, which you can still
It's not the
do, but
same.
it's still also fun to go to
Absolutely. To have that big bucket of popcorn next to you and
the
have the
movies.
dark
Speaking of
theater.
big, here's another pop culture and big bucket of popcorn transition. Have you
Okay.
seen the previews for the new Deadpool popcorns that are? Oh, they're so good.
No, what
Okay, so
changed?
you know the big thing was the Dune bucket, and then
Yeah,
Ghostbusters
that
is
was
having
weird.
one
That
now,
dude,
and
yeah, Cinemark has a
now
Slimer.
now now the new Deadpool, which is I believe this summer, they have a new popcorn bucket, and it's like the Deadpool head and the Wolverine head, and like the popcorn's like coming.
Ooh.
It's
It
great.
coming out of the mouth?
Yeah, it looks so good. I'll send it to
Oh.
you,
Yeah, I
and
have to
maybe you
see
can
that.
attach it into the episode or
Oh.
something so people can
Ooh.
see it. But
All right, here it is, folks. Yeah, so I can't wait for that popcorn bucket. That should be very interesting. I like the way it looks. That looks good. We'll have to check it out. It's anything to get us in to buy popcorn in a larger size, or to spend more money than we would normally spend. Although
it's a
I have to
collector's
say,
item.
it is. I didn't get the Slimer bucket at Cinemark, because
Did they have them?
it's not. Yeah, they did, but it's not refillable, and I like the big refillable bucket. You
Wait,
can't
what do you
refill
mean?
those.
It's they're not. You don't get a free refill with it?
I don't think so. No, I think it's just a Slimer. It's smaller size too. It's not as big as the.
Hmm.
I'm a
Interesting.
cheapo, but I think it was like $20 or something like that for the Slimer bucket,
Wow.
if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
You should have
I'll
checked
do
though.
some
No, knowing
research.
you, big eBay guy, you should have got two, and then one might pay for the second.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I should have done that. You're 100% right. But yeah, speaking of awesomeness, as these buckets are, but he's so much awesome. Thank you very much from both of us to Nick Testa for joining us last week on Around the Bases. I got such great feedback from that episode. People loved hearing Nick's stories, and Nick, thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much.
Yeah, very much. It was so much fun, and hopefully in the future you come back on and we talk more. And I'm hoping to get to Ohio for your concerts. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait.
Yeah,
So
that'd
yeah,
be a lot of fun.
and thank you for the theme song. Apparently, one of our viewers told me yesterday in a text, I can't get your theme song out of my head, and I said that's because of the brilliant Nick Testa. Do 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 do. You know. So yeah, thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. And speaking of pop culture awesomeness, also we have an unboxing. That's right. It's been a couple of weeks, but Charlie, the great Charlie, has one of his awesome collectibles, and he's going to unbox it for us.
And I'll keep for your sake for the guessing part of it. We kept it baseball. So
Oh, you're so nice. You're nice to me. I appreciate that.
now
Um,
this one here is this team has been said before, so it's a repeat team, so that could help you a little bit.
okay.
It's one of
Have
the
some
young.
ideas.
It's also one of the younger stars.
Boba
You,
Fett.
it is not Boba Fett.
I was
It is an
gonna
American League player.
Oh,
You're
okay.
already in the right league and
All
you're
right.
already in the
All
right
right.
division.
Okay.
This was a very high draft pick, and we may have talked about one of his teammates already today. Actually, two of his teammates. You probably know it now.
Oh, is it Adley Rushman?
Wow, that was maybe your best job at guessing today.
Oh, we narrowed it down. The
You got
Rush.
that very
Love.
fast. There it
Oh,
is.
I love that big head. Look at that.
Look at that. You can see
Love
here
Adley.
for those at home, he
And he
is
did not tell me. I
holding
did
his
not
catcher's
cheat.
gear. Absolutely. The
Never
integrity
tells me.
will never be ruined. He will never tell you.
That's amazing.
That was great.
That actually went too fast.
That did go too fast. But look at the detail on it. You can on his catcher's mask and his glove.
God, that's such great work. Man, I love that big head. The only thing about big heads is it takes up a lot of room.
You're right. You're not wrong about that.
Uh, but
The
they're
nice thing
nice.
though with the bases is sometimes you can kind of semi stack them so they're like kind of front and back, if that makes
I
sense.
love that. Yeah. Oh man, boom!
You
I'm
did
getting good
great.
at this.
I'm proud.
I
I'm
win the
proud.
game
You
show
crushed it
prize.
tonight. You
I
crushed it
found
on
out who
that
was
one.
behind the super sphere.
Yeah, no, you did better than that. You got that. If that was star player round, you probably locked that in at 75-50, right around there.
I mean, your hints helped. I mean, you said we talked about a couple of their players. We talked about Gunnar Henderson, of course, and we talked about
Jackson Holiday.
Jackson Holiday, who again, I get
Yeah.
and I was like, I went right to, you said the same division. So Orioles are in American League East, like the Blue Jays and the Yankees and the Red Sox. And I was like, boop, boop, boop. And that's my, you like my thought process? Boop,
That
boop,
was,
boop, boop.
that was well done.
It's
That was
like
very well
short
done.
circuit. Boop, 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 boop. But
No, that was impressive.
Thank you, buddy.
That's
A beautiful. Thank you for sharing your collect. One day we're gonna have to turn the tables, and I'm gonna have to do one for you to guess. I think that'll be fun to do.
I'd love it.
I love it. Yeah. So next week I will have something that you will have to guess what it is.
Let's do.
Do you know who that is? Oh wait, it's Willie Mays.
Hey, I think you probably just made it one
Say
person
hey.
that won't be, but you knocked it down. You knocked it down one person.
Oh look, wait. Oh wait, there's a weight bench. You see that? For our viewers, I'm pointing out a picture of Willie Mays' autograph, and I'm not.
And then over your other shoulder, I see Anthony Anderson.
There is Anthony Anderson. Wait, there's We Are Family. Well, and then we have Casey Stengel behind my neck, and the Rugrats. Apparently, it's a mix. It's a hodgepodge. Someone asked me today, "What do you collect?" And I'm like, "Well, it's kind of everything."
To tell you what you don't collect.
Yes. I have a You Got Mail, Midsummer Night's Dream poster, a You Got Mail poster. I got a Simpsons cell up there, an actual cell that was used.
Whoa, let me see that.
I never showed you that.
I don't think so.
From Treehouse of Horrors.
Wow.
See it up there behind my head?
For the
and
viewers,
that's George Jetson
I see Homer.
Above.
I see Homer, Bart, and Lisa. Is that right?
That is correct. It's from an episode of Treehouse, the Halloween episode they do. And that is George Jetson next to them. The cell of George Jetson. So yeah, and then we got the Scooby-Doo gang on the wall behind me, Mickey Mouse, and a bunch of envelopes that I used to ship shit. There it is. And a Mets hat. Of course, you have to have the Mets hat.
And how have they done since the last time we talked about?
10-3.
Oh, 10-3. That's right. 10-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone was right. I don't know.
I
what
just
the...
wanted to.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we already did.
Oh wait. Well, yeah, we did. Yeah. I'm just saying, And yeah, I think I said you were.
Wow.
I think I said you were right already.
Tables have turned. We were going on asking people what would happen if the Mets were still winless the next time we talked about it, and the Mets have won 10 times. Not
That's
9
why.
times.
That's
9
why.
times. Not
you,
9 times.
You were gonna make me do something, and that's why the Mets. See.
So you're welcome. I guess you're welcome.
Thank you. Oh man! All right, you're right. At least we didn't bet money. This is why this dude always does well. Well, most does well a lot.
Well, you know what else too, really quickly before you jump into that. At the same time, with how happy you are that the Mets have been winning, do you know who happens to have the 4th worst record in the major leagues?
Is that the Braves?
No, the Braves. Braves are crushing it. Braves are 12-5.
The who? Well, the Dodgers.
No, Dodgers are doing well.
Darn. This
is a team that you'll be happy to hear is doing very poorly.
Oh, that must be the Astros.
The Astros are 6-14, 2.5 games below the Oakland A's.
As the trolls say, poverty team. Ooh.
6-14. If we were sitting here today and the Mets were 6-14, then we'd have that same Tim energy from that exactly.
Listen, let's stop it. But listen, there's not you're so bad. There's not a team that, in my opinion, is more cocky than the Astros were for so many years, and I love that wiping smug off of Bregman's face, off of
See, the one thing that has me slightly nervous is that you got to think eventually they're going to turn it around. They're coming to Wrigley in the next homestand, so hopefully they don't turn it on that week.
It's ironic. I found so I went to LA. But the only time I've ever been to Dodger Stadium, I found my ticket stub. It was in September of 2002, and it was the Dodgers versus the Astros, and the Dodgers won. And I think I was probably rooting for the Dodgers at that point. Found my hat, the whole
Was the
thing,
game
and
in LA?
yeah, it was at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Got myself a Dodger dog. If you ever go to Dodger Stadium at the Ravine, where it is, they have a Dodger dog. I'm sure you've been to Dodger Stadium.
I
You
have.
you go to you go to Southern California, so you live, you go, you have a place of visits, as they
I am
say.
also 2-0 at Dodger Stadium in playoff games as a Cub fan.
Yes, love
That
that. Love
that
that.
was fun.
How far that's a decent drive from Dodger Stadium to Palm Springs, though. I mean, that's not
Oh yeah,
a walk in a
I
park.
flew in for
Yeah,
those games and
yeah.
we stayed in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, I stay.
We met
I
Theo
don't.
that weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Oh, Theo Epstein, right? Man, love that. Oh, I'm so jealous of that. Theo Epstein's probably one of the brightest baseball minds that have been in quite some time. Look what he did with the Cubs. Is he's not with any team now, right?
No, he worked in the commissioner's office and then he joined the ownership group of the Red Sox, but I don't
Oh,
think he's
ooh.
actually in doing baseball.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so yeah, we stayed when I'm in LA, I like staying around Universal. Like the Sheridan Universal. We stay in that area. And then we drive well, but at the time we rented a car. Nowadays, I haven't been to LA since really Ubers were a thing, so that will be interesting the next time I go there to, to do that. I'm hoping soon. I'd like to go to LA in the near
Yeah,
future.
the one thing you should never ever do is rent a car in LA.
I did that.
Not
Not fun.
anymore. Don't ever do it
So
again.
expensive.
It was maybe one of the worst experiences we've ever
Why?
had.
They
We
didn't have the
had
car?
it was just you take 2 hours to you have to go on like a shuttle bus to get there. The lines are crazy. We had a nightmare doing it, and we'll never ever do it again.
Yeah, I
Just not
was
worth it.
my first trip to LA, I was a young kid. So I was under 25, and you know how it is with cars and under 25, and it was a nightmare trying to get a car. And back then, the only thing you had other than renting a car was like car service or taxi, and taxis are not frequent in LA like they are in New York. So it was really car service. And so Erica was over 25. She's older than me, and she had to be the one to rent the car, and she was pissed at me that she had to drive in LA traffic. It's down to 405 and the 110, and the 101, whatever it was, Hollywood and
You didn't just
Freeway.
sneak behind the wheel and not tell anybody.
No, I'm a good
You didn't want
intuition.
to chance it.
Because my luck, dude, I would get into an accident, and the next thing you know, it's like
That's when you just got to pull an Eastbound and Down pop culture
it's,
and just have Stevie Janowski take the fall, and you just switch seats, and she was driving.
oh
That's one of my
man.
favorite Eastbound and Down bits.
Yes, I know that reference. See, we bring it back to pop culture. See, folks. So what did we learn from this segment? Do not rent a car in LA. But yeah, I definitely won't again. It's gonna be Uber. If I do Uber in most cities now that I go to, it's the best way. Look, in Atlanta, that's what we did, and it was fine.
It's just easy.
Yeah, it's easy. So I'm excited about this coming week. We both have an assignment, Charlie, and we talked briefly, and then we didn't talk about this on air. We're both going to watch season 6 of The Circle on Netflix before next episode because we're going to recap it. So, folks that listen to our podcast, watch our podcast on YouTube, watch The Circle, and follow along with us. And hopefully, I hear so there's an AI presence in this season, an AI bot
And
that's going to
they
play the
filmed in
game.
Atlanta again, didn't they?
While we were in Atlanta filming We Are Family, they filmed The Circle. It was the first time they filmed The Circle in the United States. All the other seasons were filmed in England. So that'll be interesting to see how that
I
changes.
remember one of our rides, one of the drivers told us that it took over the filming of something else. Something left there,
Yes.
then they took the space.
Yes, that's what I remember that conversation too. And they were literally filming it as we were filming
Yeah.
Near Family in the early fall um in Atlanta. So
Yeah. So
I'm
looking forward to
excited to
that.
see it. Yeah,
And
someone actually
you'll have to watch Survivor as well, so we can talk about it, because
yes.
this week's tonight's tribal was wild, and we'll definitely touch on that next time.
Yeah, we're sorry about the late episode, folks. Life gets in the way, but here we are. We're still producing. And Charlie, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time and always fun chatting with you, bro.
Great, it was great. Another good episode in the books.
This has been a great episode of Around the Bases, the pop culture and sports podcast with myself, Tim Sternberg, and my buddy
Charlie Seymour.
And until next week, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Take care.